Tuesday night Krug show. Raj is in the house. We got a lot to get to. Fresh rumors, the combine in the rear view. We got to get to it right here, right now. Let's go. Off and running on the Krug Show Tuesday night, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of America's. Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. They're in Northern California. They're in Petaluma. They're in Emeryville. Soon to open they're in Corte Madera. They're in Emeryville. Soon to open in Petaluma. Get some brisket chili. Tell them the Krug sent you. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Great people. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle. Also, thanks to our spring training sponsors. And we had a couple spring training sponsors we want to shout out. Our good friends over at Novato Chevrolet. Great dealership, family-owned dealership, really great people. And they do some amazing things over there. Go give these guys a call, and they're going to give you an outstanding deal. Great selection, great service, really hard to beat. When you can get great selection and great service, you're doing something right there. You're doing something well. These guys have been in business for a long time. They've been in this location for decades. They're right there in Novato. So if you need a Chevrolet, go to Novato Chevrolet. You will not be disappointed. Novato Chevrolet, fantastic dealership. The owner, Gus, is a personal friend, and they really do amazing things. So go see David Corral. David Corral, really good guy. He's the man to go see. He'll get you a steal of a deal. Tell him that Krug sent you. Novato Chevrolet. Once again, really, really good dealership, high quality, lots of great selection, tremendous service. Go see our man, David Corral. He is the man to go to. He will give you a great deal. Tell him that Krug sent you. We also want to thank our good friends at Alomar Marina. What a great restaurant they are. 5999 Garden Highway. They're open Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Sunday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Go get the shrimp tacos. It's all good. I had a burger there that was fantastic. The lobster roll is amazing. Just sit and float on the Sacramento River and enjoy your meal. The best lunch spot in Sacramento. Sacramento sports fans, game day destination. You can dine while you're floating on the Sacramento River. You can just drive up with your boat, park your boat, have a little breakfast, have a little lunch. The Alomar Marina restaurant, the best spot, best kept secret in Sacramento. A really cool spot. And Alomar Marina voted Sacramento's favorite 14 times. Best specialty cocktails. Once again, Alomar Marina, 5999 Garden Highway in Sacramento. And thanks, of course, to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles as well for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right, we're off and running. We titled this, Jonathan Greenard is available should the Niners pounce. This is an interesting player. The Minnesota Vikings suddenly have a few players that interest the Niners, and we know the Niners probably have a player or two that interest the Vikings, with Mac Jones being probably primary. We don't know what direction they're going to go at quarterback, but they do have Jordan Addison, and now Jonathan Greenard is a defensive end who, they're saying they may trade, looking for a day 2 pick, probably willing to take, an early day 3 pick is my guess. Would you trade a 4th round pick if you could get Jonathan Greenard? This year he had some injuries. 2 years ago he had an amazing year.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? First off, how's everybody going? What an intro. But yeah, for Greenard, I would definitely trade a 4th round pick for him. He would upgrade the defensive end, the pass rush immensely. If you get it for a 4th round pick, Larry, let's go. It seems like the Vikings are pretty, open to moving away from him. They're not going to sit there and be hard pressed and be like, oh, we don't want that pick. They're going to take what best offer they can get. 4th round pick probably sounds like it's going to be up to maybe a 3rd round pick. but I'm thinking a 4th-round pick's going to be feasible. The Niners have some other things that they could throw in there. Just throw in Brandon Ayuk just to get him out of there, you know what? But no, in all seriousness, Greenard would be great. Add addition to the pass rush. Guy's been pretty good. You know, he's been very effective overall. Let me pull up his stats here, unless you have him there.
Let's give Raj the proper introduction, by the way. The great Raj Melwani from RSF 49ers is in the crazy. They're very, very happy that Raj is here.
Yeah, thank you for the claps and the proper introduction. But so here's you go. So since 2023, Greenard had 61 pressures, 9.5 sacks, a 77 pass rush grade, 72 run defense grade, and 35.5 stops. That's better than anything we've been able to put together in terms of pass rush. And you got Nick Bosa coming back. Now, I know we're excited for Bosa, but you need to take off pressure, because if you don't give him any help, second time coming off an ACL, I don't know what Bosa is going to be. I've been saying this a lot. Get him some damn help, man. And Greenard would be a good start right there. You get him for like a cheap pick like that, money in the bank, Larry.
I mean, I think it makes sense. I mean, this is the kind of player that makes sense. And if you could make a deal where, I mean, you know, I would love a couple of, you know, the Niners have a number of holes, and it's how many can they fill with Mac Jones? And if Minnesota's on the verge of dumping Greenard, and you could trade Mac Jones and get, you know, Greenard, Jordan Addison, and some kind of a mid-round pick, I think that would be really, really good. You fill your defensive end need, you fill your wide receiver need, you get a pick in the draft, you move on. I think that I would do that. Now, the talk is, it's funny. The talk that I saw yesterday was that, oh man, nobody, you know, it's been quiet about Mac Jones at the combine. And I think the Niners basically let it be known to everybody they want a lot. And the reports were in the last 24 hours that they asked for a first-round pick in return for Jones. And I think the pushback is coming from teams going, hey, you know what? That's an overpay. And there's no doubt that's an overpay, but it's a supply and demand situation, and the demand is greater than the supply. So I think if you're the 49ers, just hold tight and wait for whoever's going to blink. Somebody's going to look there and go, you know what? We need a quarterback. And then they're just not going to wind up getting anybody in free agency. They're not going to wind up getting the one or two guys that might be intriguing in the draft. And they're going to get to, you know, I don't know. I think they're going to get to draft weekend and just go, you know what? We'll make a deal. And I think if you're the 49ers, you ought to be open-minded even on day 3 of the draft and just be like, hey, we'll take a player. And this would be the kind of deal where, you know, hey, Jordan Addison in a you know, 4th-round pick for Mac Jones. I think there's worse things that you could do than getting, or, you know, Jordan Addison and you know, in this D end, you know, Greenard and a 4th-round pick. And it's like, you know what? You fill 2 needs. Yeah, it's veteran players. Some people would say, well, you're getting guys that they're getting ready to dump. Do you want to give Jordan Addison a second contract? You know, do you want to pay Greenard what they're paying him right now? But I mean, if he's the player that he was 2 years ago, I have no problem playing Greenard. And I like Jordan Addison as a player. I would pay Jordan Addison. So to me, Minnesota is a team that, to me, is very, very intriguing because they've got some pieces that the Niners need filled. I mean, the Niners got to come out of this offseason with several needs filled. And that's why, you know, this talk about, well, you can keep Mac Jones. Yeah, you could keep Mac Jones, but, you know, you can fill that backup quarterback need pretty easily, even if you don't have Mac Jones. So why not cash in that Mac Jones chip when you can? I mean, that's the way I see it. Everybody's looking at it a little differently. It's funny, too, because the Niner insiders, you know, Matt Mayoko is saying, hey, you know, I think they may keep Mac Jones. Matt Barrows has maintained, no, they're going to trade Mac Jones. I'm kind of with Matt Barrows. I just think that, you know, they're saying they're going to keep him. I think that's posturing. other teams saying that they're not interested, I think that's posturing. Eventually, the posturing will end, and quarterback teams will still need quarterbacks, and Mac Jones will still remain a good alternative. And I think the Niners are going to get a nice little package. I really do.
Yeah, honestly, I think that they don't. They've said it multiple times that they don't want to trade Mac. So right now they're probably standing pat, saying, "Oh yeah, we want this first round pick, whatever." They're not going to trade him right now. Free agency starts next week. They're going to see what the offers are. If they don't move him during free agency, the draft comes and they can sweeten the pot and say, "Hey, look, we got this chip. You guys don't have a quarterback. You didn't get a quarterback in the draft. Boom, let's make a deal." They're going to get what's best for them, and I think that right there, Mac Jones is such a big bargaining chip for them. So they're gonna really gonna see what is available. And right now, teams are not gonna share their hand at the draft. Also, free agency's coming up. They can't really say much until the legal tampering period on Monday. So teams are kind of quiet. You're gonna see a lot of rumors and smoke over the next days, and then boom, Monday comes, and we're gonna see what all the real talk is about. So I think they do eventually trade Mac. I don't think they should. I think they should try to keep on to him because I love Purdy, but can he stay healthy? And it doesn't seem like they're going to put another emphasis on improving this offensive line, maybe left guard, like they said. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they can get back for Mac. I think he's definitely going to get him a decent haul because quarterbacks are hard to find, and he proved himself. And I think a lot of teams are looking at what Sam Darnold did. He went to the Niners, and boom, he just won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. And this is a copycat league, and people are going to see that blueprint like, oh, 49ers fix Mac Jones. Maybe we should get him, and he could become our starter, and then we can win a Super Bowl like Seattle. So I feel like a lot of teams are going to see that blueprint and say, oh, we got to get Mac Jones. And
well, I mean, the talk is the Niners have asked everybody for a number one pick. Why?
Yeah,
because they want a top. They want a top 50 pick. They want a top 50 pick, and so they're asking for a number one. And teams are like saying, no, he's not worth that. And one of the comments that Barrows had was, is Kyle Shanahan coming with him, kind of a thing? Like,
yeah, I saw
Shanahan's the key.
He's the guy that's why he's good. Yeah. But because he schemes him up. He's the one that made Sam Darnold good. He's the one that made Jimmy G good. He's the one that made Brock Purdy look good, right? All these. So it's like, oh, is he coming with them? But Mac Jones has, reclaimed him. And I don't know. I hope he doesn't leave. If you've seen all the content over the last couple of weeks, he's been with George Kittle. They've been hanging out in Cabo. Man, this guy looks like he's totally part of the family. I mean, he's out there dancing, throwing the ball at the gong. This guy's having the best time of his life. He looks like he's part of that Cabo clique. The Kittle and him are like best friends now. I don't know if I want to lose Mac Jones, man, but
I hear you, man.
I know the Niners. I know the Niners can get another quarterback and make them look good and do the whole reclamation project, but I like Mac, man. Keep him for one more year, and then next year let him go spread his wings. But you can't hold him back. If he gets a big opportunity somewhere and someone's like, yo, we want him to start, let's give you this for him, you almost got to let him. You got to let him do it.
Yeah, it's interesting too. And it's like, what do you do? Do you go into the draft and try to find somebody? Because there's a couple of guys I like in the draft, and 4 or 5 guys. And then or do you sit there and go, well, no, we won't do the draft. We'll go and we'll try to do the free agent thing. The top 5 quarterbacks, obviously Mendoza won. Ty Simpson had a really good combine. He's probably number 2. Some people really like Garrett Nussmeier. I thought he looked really good in the All-Star game. There's Carson Beck. There's Drew Aller. I think those are the top 5 quarterbacks by most people's standards. I kind of like the next 5, which would be Taylon Green, who 6'6", 230 from Arkansas. Now, granted, they struggled this year. I mean, Arkansas was not a good team. And Green, you kind of wonder if he was so damn good, why did they suck so bad offensively? But he is intriguing as heck. 6'6", 230, and he's got 4.3 speed. I like him. I kind of like Jalen Daniels from Kansas, another athletic quarterback. I like Cole Payton from North Dakota State. Lefty, 6'3", 230, good arm. So I like those 3 guys. And then I kind of intrigued by Mark Gronowski a lot from Iowa, who's 6'2", 230, 10.25-inch hands, MVP of the bowl game, MVP of the All-Star game, the East-West Shrine game. He showed plenty of arm strength. So, and then I kind of like Jacob Clarks from Missouri State. So, I mean, it's just, when you look at this, there's there's that the top tier quarterbacks, and then there's this whole second group. And I kind of like the second group more than the first group. So we'll see. I mean, it's all kind of speculative. It'll be interesting to see if the 49ers go with any quarterback option in this draft. All right, a couple thoughts. One, did you get a chance to watch any of the combine?
Yeah.
Is there a player that you saw in the draft at any of the positions that, to me, when I watched it, I thought, you know what? If the Niners could wind up with if they could turn a trade back of their own first round pick and maybe the trading of Mac Jones into a couple of second round picks, I would love to see that happen, because to me, that's the round in this draft that really looks good almost across the board. And there's some really, really solid football players in that second round. I'm very intrigued by several players coming out of the combine. Anybody that you really love coming out of the combine?
Man, there's so many people, but most of the people I like probably gonna be gone before we get like Kenyon Sadiq. Oh my God, that guy blew the house down at tight end. Omar Cooper, I've been a fan of his for a long time. He looked good. Bryce Lance, man, Trey Lance's little brother. The guy looked pretty good, but it is North Dakota State. It's the Trey Lance. I don't know. He looked good though in the combine. He really impressed me putting on a show there. So there were just a lot of big time players. Some of the defense players, the Ohio State outside linebacker. Can't think of his name.
Sonny Styles.
Yeah, Sonny Styles. Yeah,
Sonny Styles is just a freak.
He looked incredible. He was like a freak of nature out there, just blowing past stuff.
He's amazing.
He looked good. There's a handful of linemen, like the guy with the mullet from Iowa, of course. What's his
Jennings
name?
Dunker.
Yeah, Dunker. I mean, he'd be fun to get on the team. He looked good. There's so many people I like in this draft, man. But you only have so many picks in the Niners. Unfortunately, number one pick. So that's where maybe if they do get a good draft pick, you can slot yourself into making. And there's that Mac Jones trade again. If they can get that second round pick, maybe they can slot themselves to get somebody like that. So they got a lot of holes out there on this team, and not only that, I think Mac Jones is better than any of those quarterbacks that you mentioned. When you were listing out those players, he's probably better than anybody coming out of the draft this year.
Right. So it's like, that's why the Niners said they want a first round pick. But it'll be interesting to see if somebody says, well, you know what, we won't give you our first round pick, but here's a good player and a second round pick. And I think if you're the 49ers, you would probably take that. As far as, I was in Arizona playing golf and watching the Giants in spring training, and I was getting a chance to see the combine at night and the highlights of the combine at night. I mean, a couple guys jumped out. One, Malachi Lawrence, the defensive end from Central Florida. I mean, what a ridiculous pass rusher he is. That guy can really rush the passer. DeMonte Capehart from Clemson is a really, really good defensive lineman who just, Clemson's produced some really good players through the years. This guy's one of them for sure. He's a tremendous defensive lineman. To me, those two guys for sure stood out on defense. As far as on offense, Mike Washington Jr. from Arkansas, just the way he runs at 230 pounds, 225 pounds, he's a tremendous back. That's a slasher. He's big. Jeff Campbell, the receiver from Cincinnati, 6'5", 217, ran 4.31. He was very, very impressive. And then, the other one that stood out to me is there's a 49ers love, someone said, did you see anybody in this thing that you thought was a good fit for the 49ers? And I really did. There's an offensive lineman named Micah Morris who plays at Georgia. And the Niners, if you look at their history, they love the 10-yard split offensive linemen because those are the linemen that move the best quickly. And the guys that they wanted last year before they jumped to the Raiders, Charles Grant and Rogers, Caleb Rogers, were both guys that excelled in that 10-yard split. I'd done a video on that about who are the best 10-yard split offensive linemen in the draft. And sure enough, the Niners liked a couple of them, and they both went to the Raiders right ahead of them, and they went with Upton Stout. Well, this year, the number one guy in the short shuttle, the 10-yard split, as they call the short shuttle, is Micah Morris from Georgia, and he's 6'6", 340 for Georgia. He's a guard. He's just a monster, but he moves great, and he's not. Georgia's got a lot of big-time players that kind of get lost in the shuffle. And I don't know this kid's story as far as recruiting wise and what he was in high school. I haven't done the research yet on that. But I'm just telling you, the Niners are going to look for an offensive lineman who's probably not going to go on day one, maybe doesn't go on day one or day two, but has great movement ability and they think is projectable into their, outside zone heavy scheme. And I think Micah Morris is going to be that guy. He's too fast and athletic at that size. And that's in that conference, I think that's a no-brainer. You get into the 4th or 5th round and you've got a guard like this because you need someone to step in for Burford. And if you got a kid who started at Georgia who's 6'6", 340 and moves really, really well, that's a good place to start right there. I'm intrigued by Micah Morris. Jeff Caldwell for sure a little bit, the receiver from Cincinnati, with his eye-popping 4.31, 42-inch vertical, 11.2 broad jump. I mean, that was incredible. But this Micah Morris, the 10-yard split is something that puts him firmly right on the Niners' radar. Let's hit a couple of these topics that I think were kind of interesting today because there was a number of them. One, Niners not planning to tender Kalia Davis as a restricted free agent, so they're going to let Kalia Davis go. What do you think of that? I mean, they need an interior defensive tackle, and that might be even their top need, and yet they're saying goodbye to Kalia Davis. Obviously, they want to give that job to somebody.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, he was decent depth, but I mean, he got hurt a lot. I just don't think he ever hit his full potential. I don't think it's the big loss. It's not a huge loss. I think they can replace him easily in the draft, maybe free agency. There's going to be a lot of people out there. Also, they got to look within. They have the man, Sebastian Valdez, last year, the Hulk. He's out there working his butt off, and maybe
I saw those workout.
Maybe they can give him an opportunity, man, and see what he could do. I think he'd do at least what Sebastian or what Kalia Davis did, at least be as productive as him. It's not like you're losing a world beater. I don't know if you've seen the meme out there, East Bay Chris, like the meme is when the Niners are tired on defense, they always pan to Kalia Davis. Like he just looks like he's constantly tired. Like he just looks like he's gassed out. So when the announcers are saying, oh, the Niners are gassed on defense, they just pan to Kalia Davis. It's the only thing we're going to miss. I mean, he's a good player, but bottom line, it's not like you're missing like an all-world, all-beater, elite player. Give Sebastian Valdez a chance. See if he can make the 53, man. I think he could do at least what Kalia Davis could do.
Sebastian Valdez, I saw some of his workout videos. Was he benching 4 plates like it was nothing?
Nick is nasty, dude.
It wasn't 3 plates, was it? It was 4.
4 plates, man.
Dude, 4 plates.
He's a monster. He's a monster, Larry.
Dude, 2 plates is 225. 4 plates is 450. Oh my God. 450. Just throwing around 450 like it was nothing.
He's a monster, dude.
Did you see that video of him benching
that video? Yeah.
Jesus. He was a bunch of other things he was doing as well with these explosive arm movements.
He's a monster, dude.
I mean, 450 and just moving it up and down like was nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, bro is just blowing up. Okay, there were odds today on Max Crosby. Commanders 3-1, Titans 4-1, Pats 5-1, Niners 6-1. They're sitting right there. How viable is a Crosby trade? They ain't trading 2 number ones, But if you could get him for a first and a third, man, I think the Niners might want to make that move. Now, I don't know. I don't know. I don't see the move getting made unless the Raiders really wanted either Mac Jones or maybe in some weird world they wanted Curtis Rourke.
No, they don't want to.
Um, I mean, the thing is, they want somebody to play this year besides Mendoza. I mean, I'm sure they want Mendoza to play, but I'm sure they would like to have somebody else who could play. That's why I mentioned Rourke. But I don't know.
Well, we don't know if Rourke could even play. He hasn't played yet in the NFL. He had a couple practices, so that'd be if they threw that away for Curtis Rourke.
What if Rourke? Well, no, I'm not saying instead of Mendoza. I'm saying in addition to Mendoza.
In addition, but still, you don't take. I wouldn't even take a flyer on him. We don't even know if he could play.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why you would take a flyer because you think he can. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if he can play either. The Crosby thing is interesting though. There's a lot of talk that he is going to be dealt and he's going to be dealt this week. This is a big week because of course this is the week before free agency and there are going to be guys who teams are going to want to cut who this week they're trying to trade, and we just talked about one off the start of the show. Jimmy Ward, according to reports, the Texans are releasing Jimmy Ward. Should the Niners have interest in Jimmy Ward?
No, I love it. Jimmy Ward. Sorry. It's one of my favorite players over the years. He's a great veteran, but I think it's time to not get Jimmy Ward. I love him. He was a great veteran. He's a great leader. All this stuff. You can say everything you need to say, but they really, really need to make some improvements in the safety department. And I think bringing Jimmy Ward would not be improving the safety department. There's a lot better safeties out there. I love Jimmy Ward, but I don't think they need to bring him back. And he had some legal stuff last year. I just think that it's time to get younger. They said they want to get younger and faster. Let's get younger and faster all around this team, Larry.
Matthew Berry says, I don't expect Deebo Samuel to return to the Commanders. I think it's a no-doubter that Deebo's coming back. He also is not going to help them get younger, faster, cheaper. But I get the feeling that they love him. And, with no Ayuk and no JJ and who knows about Pearsall. I mean, I think they're looking for a little continuity. I think Deebo for sure is coming back.
I know you predicted that, and I feel like you're going to be right because you're not the only one saying it. It kind of sounded like that when Lynch was talking to his presser. I think you alluded to that last week. Not only that, George Kittle, talked about him. Christian McCaffrey was asked about him during NFL, media week. It just kind of seems like they're going to bring back Deebo. That's Kyle's guy. He brought back Kendrick Bourne this year. I feel like he's going to do the same thing with Deebo, and it's just going to be, oh my God, it's great. Deebo's back, but what's he really going to offer? He's not that.
Well, if you could have one slow guy between JJ, at the price here he's going to cost, Deebo at whatever the price he cost, or, between those guys and Bourne, who's obviously a low cost guy. I mean, I could, if Kyle wants Deebo out of those three, that's fine with me. But you can't have more. You can't have Deebo and Bourne. You can't have Deebo and JJ. You can have one guy that can't really run, and if that's Deebo, that's fine. He's kind of a one of one. I think he's already played his best ball. If Kyle wants to go back to him, that's fine. If he's moving off these other guys for more, if the other guys are going to be replaced by more dynamic guys, then I'm okay with Deebo coming back.
I love Deebo, but younger, faster. They said it. If they get Deebo, they're not getting younger, faster. I don't know, man. I don't know what he has left in him. He had like some moments last year, but
he did have a decent year for the Commanders. But you got to make it didn't seem like
a lot of injuries with the Niners and get someone better. Just go get someone better. Just stop. They got to stop rehashing people. It's not a reunion just so they can go to weekend parties and that's what they love to party, man.
Well, it's like stop being so sensitive with all these players and It's like I know this is. I've been saying this for a long time that Kyle and John, their players like them, but can they make the tough call and say goodbye to these players? And I don't know if they can. Would you make this trade? I saw this one today. Niners get Kayvon Thibodeau. New York Giants get a 4th-round pick.
Send it. Let's make it happen. We need defensive edge rushers, pass rushers, linemen. Give me that. Come on, man. Kayvon Thibodeau is probably better than the lineman you're gonna find in the 4th round. Let's have it.
That's about the round I think I'd want. For that to me is a pretty good deal for the Niners. New York Jets are expected to release Justin Fields. If the Niners moved off of their quarterback, would you give Fields a shot as the reclamation guy?
No, are you kidding me? Justin Fields, Larry? Stop it, man. That's not a serious question. No, next. No.
I mean, it's a serious question because he's going to want to come to the Niners. And he does have 4.4 speed, and he's very accurate at times. But, I mean, to me, he just doesn't see. He doesn't process. He doesn't see the field. He can't throw with any anticipation. That you got to be able to throw with anticipation. Juwan Jennings may get $15 million a year on his deal, according to Albert Breer. Does that mean he's for sure gone?
Yeah, I think so. I think that they're not going to want to pay him $15 million a year. I think they'll discuss it. I think they'll have some serious conversations. But I think there's going to be teams that might pay him more than $15 million a year. I really do, man. I really think teams are going to say, "Oh, let's give you $17 million a year." I'm sure there's going to be a team that pays for him. He had a heck of a year. He can make the case. He does a lot of different things, blocking, dirty work, this, that, the other. There's teams out there now that can use him that he's had coaches for, right? He can go to the Texans. He can go to the Titans. The Chargers, they got Mike McDaniel. There's a lot of Jeff Hafley from Miami. There's a lot of Niner coaches around the league that would love to bring Juwan Jennings because not only, the receiver portion of him, but all the intangibles he brings. They know what he brings to the locker room in terms of a leader. I think Tennessee's probably the best fit. He's from Tennessee. He's a Tennessee hero. He's the guy out there. Robert Saleh knows what he brings to the table in terms of leadership, and he needs a good veteran for this team. He needs a good veteran for Cam Ward. I think he's going to go to Tennessee.
It makes too much sense for him to go to Tennessee, but he also loves to win, and I think he knows Tennessee's probably not going to win, but we'll see.
Also like money.
Several NFL executives and coaches believe the Niners will have interest in Riq Woolen if he doesn't go back to Seattle. Some say he's be an instant upgrade over Renardo Green.
Ooh.
Woolen's supposedly going to get a $18 to $20 million per year price tag. Would you go that high for Riq Woolen?
18. He's talented. Do I think he's better than Renardo Green? I think it's close. I think last year Renardo Green was really hampered by his injuries. He's also a man coverage cornerback, and he didn't really get to utilize that skill in the defensive, scheme last year. So I don't know. Maybe Tariq Woolen does make more sense for the Niners in terms of with Raheem Morris, what he wants to do. I wouldn't hate it. I like Tariq. I think he's a good player. I know the Niners cooked him up a couple times, but overall, he's a pretty good cornerback. He's not a top, elite cornerback, but he's a good cornerback too. Do I think he's an upgrade over Renardo? I think it's about the same there. I like Renardo, but he got chewed out by Kyle. He's posting some cryptic messages on his Instagram last week. You called him out. Everything. I don't know. Say what you got to say about Renardo Green, Larry.
I didn't call him out. I just said that I heard that somebody said he's going to be traded.
Yeah.
I actually like his game. I like Ricky's game, but you know what? I just was sharing that. I think people think that I don't make shit up. So it's like, somebody, convenient that you've heard the guy that you want to be traded is rumored to be traded. I'm like, what? Do you think I'm making it up? I mean, come on. I mean, I'm telling you the truth. If you don't want me to tell you the truth, I won't. But that's what I heard. I do find it interesting that ESPN's now saying that there's an 80% chance Renardo Green gets traded on his rookie contract. 80% chance. That's interesting. If it came down to the Niners either signing Mike Evans, who's 32, or Romeo Doubs, who's 25, who would you go after? And I bring this up because It's interesting. The Niners may need a volume receiver with no Kittle, no Debo, no Ayuk, no JJ. They got a lot of young receivers. They got a lot of inexperienced receivers. They may need a volume based receiver. And there was talk about Dobbs and Naylor, but I think between Dobbs and Naylor, Dobbs is more the volume guy. And then there's been a lot of whispers about Mike Evans and their pursuits of Evans. And Evans, one of his things that he wants is an opportunity to make a lot of catches. He in a lot of ways is asking for exactly what they are right now, which is a high volume opportunity for some receiver.
Yeah, I love Mike Evans, and I think he's been a fantastic player. He'll be a Hall of Famer one day, but man, we need to go younger. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say Dobbs is a better player than Evans, but I think he's the better pick for the 49ers if you want to move forward. If you want to use a younger guy who's going to be there longer, give you a little bit more longevity, he can be a high volume guy. I mean, Mike Evans is an incredible player, but how much does he have left in the tank? He has, last year was a year where he got banged up, and before that, he was a constant, perennial 1,000-yard receiver. But I don't know if he's still got that kind of game left in the tank. I love him, but if I had to choose between Dobbs and Evans, I'm going to go with Romeo Dobbs. He's 25 years old. To me, that gives you a lot more upside than Mike Evans, who's in his 30s.
Jeremy Fowler says the Niners are a sneaky free agent candidate bidder for John Franklin Myers from the Denver Broncos. To me, I think that's probably too rich for their blood. I could see them going for maybe a David Onyemata, somebody like that, who could be a nice little interior rusher next to West and Collins. But they seem to want a defensive lineman who can rush the passer. What do you think, John Franklin Myers? You like that name?
Like the name, but I think it might be a little too much. They do need to get a defensive lineman. Like I said, when we brought up Kalia, now I'm not saying Kalia is at that level, but they're going to get a defensive lineman, I feel like, somewhere in free agency. I don't know. I'd like them to spend their bigger money maybe elsewhere a little bit, but I wouldn't hate it. I hate the move.
Brian Peacock was on with me on KMBR today, and he was asked on his Locked On 49ers, who are the most likely first-round picks for the Niners? And his in order, 1 through 5, were Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver, Indiana, number 1. Casey Concepcion, wide receiver, A&M, number 2. Max Ianhacha from ASU, the offensive tackle, number 3. TJ Parker, the defensive end, number 4. Caleb Lomu, the offensive tackle, number 5. And he said his draft dark horse is Mekhi Lemon, who did not run a good 40 time. It's interesting. Mekhi Lemon is not a big receiver, and he didn't run a good 40 time. And then he turned off some people at the combine in his interviews. And there's never been a wide receiver go in the first round who was under 5'11" and under 4 or over 4'5", and that's what he is. So I don't know. He's an awesome player. I mean, I don't know if you've ever watched Mekhi Lemon from SC.
Yeah, good player.
But he's a magical receiver, but he doesn't have those measurables. And so I'll throw it to you. Who's most likely to be the Niners' first round pick at 27?
I mean, if it's going to be a receiver, I could probably see it being Casey Concepcion. I feel like he kind of fits that 27 number right around there, and he kind of has that mold that Kyle Shanahan likes. We talked about Debo. If they don't actually get Debo, Concepcion's kind of like the versatile type of slot guy. You can play like a Debo, so maybe it is him. I hope they get a lineman. I hope they go get Proctor, maybe him from Alabama. I would love that, but I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger on a lineman, Larry, early. I think you mentioned earlier that they'll probably get maybe 3rd, 4th round, but
yeah. I mean, Zion Young, I think if I had to bet, I would say Zion Young. The other guy that I think could really be a Niner is Chris Johnson, the San Diego State corner. He's just a very solid football player across the board. I mean, he's a starting caliber corner. If they don't get Tariq Woolen, I could see Chris Johnson from San Diego State. I mean, just to me, he's a very, very good corner. He produced. He had a great numbers at the combine. Zion Young, same thing. These guys didn't light up the combine, but they had good numbers at the combine, and they're very good players.
Yeah.
So those are the two for me. Warren Sharp had his mock draft, and he had Caden McDonald, the Ohio State, going to the Niners with
Mm.
pick number 27. That's an interesting name because he is a, beastly run defender who's also pretty good, rushing the passer. So that one's interesting. Couple more thoughts before we bolt here. Oh, this was kind of interesting. Um, Matt Barrows was saying there hasn't been a lot of talk about interest in Mac Jones at the combine, but one of the comments was from a coach saying, "Are the Niners going to throw Kyle Shanahan in the deal?" And it's like, so it's kind of a viewpoint that everybody kind of views Shanahan as the bottom line, and he's the key guy, and maybe the Niners won't get a good offer for Mac Jones because the belief is that Shanahan is the key linchpin there. Two things I think are really interesting coming out of the combine. One, this wide receiver, the small school freaky wide receiver, Ted Hurst from Georgia State. He came in taller and bigger than he measured last year. He was 6'4", 206 pounds. Last year, they measured him at 6'3", 198. And last year, he ran a 4.5, 740 and had a broad jump of 10.8. He ran 4.42 this year and had an 11.3 broad jump. I just think Ted Hurst is a great player. And then he tested at a really high level to run 4.42 at, 6'3" or 6'4", 208 pounds, and to run 4.42 with the jumping ability. And then you look at his film. To me, that's a great second round pick. I mean, I don't think he's going in the first round, but I think that's an amazing second round pick. And then I think what's also going to be really interesting is the talk about Reuben Bain, as we get closer to the draft. And, we got over a month to the draft, and Reuben Bain is maybe one of the best players in the entire draft, but his arm length is going to be the major discussion of this draft. They measured him at 30 and 7/8 inches. That's less than ideal for an edge rusher, to say the least. He's 6'2", he's 263 pounds. He's the most disruptive defensive end in all of college football last year. But it is worth noting that no edge rusher over the last 20 years has been picked in the first round with arms as short as Bain's arms. So that's interesting. He's 275 pounds, but he's short arms, and they put a lot of credence in arm length, especially at the position he plays. How much does he slip? How far does he slip? Supposedly Lee Hunter from Texas Tech, the big defensive tackle, was a real favorite interview of the players, the players that talked to the coaches. So a lot of people are saying great things about Lee Hunter. So anyway, just a few notes on the combine that I thought were interesting. There's a number of Jacoby Lane, I thought looked amazing in that gauntlet drill. He's the other SC receiver, and he's a big receiver. Talking about a guy who's 6'4", 200 pounds. He ran 4.47. He's got a 40-inch vertical. He's got a 10.9 broad, and then he looks so natural in the gauntlet drill. He caught the ball with total ease. The Texas Tech linebacker, Jacob Rodriguez, 6'1", 231, but he ran 4.57, and then he jumped 38.5 inches in the vertical, 10.1 in the broad jump, 6'9" 3-cone was a great number, 4.19 in the short shuttle was a great number. So just another player who was a terrific player in college football, and then also tested out as a really great overall athlete. So anyway, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles for sponsoring the Krug Show as well. Thanks to Alomar Marina and Novato Chevrolet. There are links in the description for all of our sponsors. Thanks, of course, to all of you guys. Before we get out of here, let's hit our supers. We got a few. Raj, you can read them for us. Here we go. We'll fire away. And the supers are brought to you by our friends at Habas Law. They will fight to make it right. Habas Law, great attorneys. When you need a great attorney, you need to go to Habas Law. I mean, they're just fantastic attorneys. They're good personal injury attorneys. And when when the insurance companies deny, you need somebody who's going to say, you know what? No. You're going to have to pay. And Habas Law is that somebody. So thanks to Habas Law, 1-800-INJURED. They will fight to make it right. Thanks to Habas Law for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right, we'll read these supers and then we'll bolt for the door. Here we go.
All right. Alexander McDonald R3G says JJ is getting $20 million. He's a 1B only on the Niners. Find me another team where he's even a number 2. Niners tell JJ. It says Niners tell JJ we'll sign him back when he's a cap casualty next offseason. Oh.
Ouch. It's harsh, but it's kind of true. It's kind of true.
JCNY 49er says, my dream signing for the offseason is Trey Hendrickson, Eddie Pinheiro, Kolar and Dobbs, Romeo Dobbs. Round 1, A. Hill. Round 2, Rutledge. Round 3, Durant. Keep Mac and trade him for a player in season when a quarterback goes down. Ooh, that's nice.
Ooh. I like somebody with a well-developed plan. That's a man with a well-developed plan.
Yeah. JCNY 49er again says, SMH, in reality, we'll get Debo, Armstead, and Matt Gay.
Oh, man. Please say no. Please say no.
Please don't. Savage AF 24. I like Dobbs a lot, but are you not concerned about his concussion issues? That's the one thing there. He does have some injury issues there. Romeo Dobbs.
I am concerned about that for sure.
GLO Jr. says, Larry, what does Trent Balky think of Jennings Dunker? Oh, yeah, this should be good.
I'm telling you, Larry, this guy's got a head of hair on him that's real, makes even Trent Balky blush. I mean, I'm telling you, he's a big ginger. He's a big ginger. I saw him in the lobby the other day, and I said, hey, get over here, you big gingerbread cookie, you. And he looked at me and he said, who the fuck are you? I said, I'm Trent Balky.
That's good. Gingerbread cookie. Okay.
There you go.
I like that. It's
you
good.
Like that?
It's good.
I worked that in there.
That was good.
I got material. What can I say?
Any more?
Let's see. Was that the last one?
No, I think there was. Yeah, I think there's more.
Oh, we got
one or two more.
Yeah, here we go. Wait. There we go.
No, that's the one you just did. There's one after that.
Wait, yeah. Wait. God dang it. I'm having a hard time seeing this thing over here. Wait a second. Here we go.
Get your eyes checked.
There we go.
Okay. Max CA 415. Greener, make it so.
There you go. All right. I think now we've got them all.
Now we got them all. Yeah, now we got them all, baby.
Thanks to Habas Law for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to all of our sponsors. The links are in the description for all of our sponsors. Raj, what do you got cooking the rest of the week? You got anything big going on? Any major stuff in your off season?
I just need to get better. I've been sick for weeks, man. I don't know. I just got to get better, man.
Seriously, I've been there, dude. I've been there. Raj, everybody send their well wishes to Raj. Until next time, peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful.